I had a few of my subscribers reach out to me asking if I could make a Guyanese style beef stew the way we make it in our country, in the Caribbean. And I also had some of my subscribers reach out asking for a Guyanese style stew chicken. So today I am going to go ahead and show you how I make my Guyanese style beef stew, or some of us might know it as stew beef. I did not get to go to the grocery store, so I wanted to get bone-in beef, but I did not get to go to the store. So I am using boneless beef today for my beef stew. So I am going to show you step by step how I make my stew, my beef stew or my stew beef. Okay. Um, First of all, in my bowl, I have 3.5 pounds of beef that I cut up into 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches um, pieces, and I washed with lemon and vinegar. That is what I'm going to be making my stew with. Okay, so I went ahead and I washed my beef with my lemon and thing. In this bowl, I do have my green seasoning that I made in my blender, which is a combination of 1 onion, 3 stalks of scallion, fine leaf thyme, broadleaf thyme, chili pepper, 5 cloves of garlic, couple leaves of basil. I blended, and also I blended ginger and some extra garlic. This is what I will be cooking my stew with. Um, first, that First I am going to go ahead and show you how to fry the beef with my green seasoning, because that's what I do first before I even started the stew. Okay, so in my pot I added 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and I will put the stove on and let it heat up until it's completely hot, and then I will go ahead and show you how to start your beef stew. Okay, so just bear with me, guys. Hang in there, and let's try to do the best we can. All right, so just hang in there with me, and I am going to show you step by step how I make my stew. All right, so just bear with me. Okay, guys, so now that my oil is hot, I am going to tell you again, once again, what's in my green seasoning. It's 1 onion, 3 stalks of scallion, fine leaf thyme, couple leaves of basil. I do have 5 cloves of garlic, some chili pepper, and broadleaf thyme. Also, I have some ginger and some garlic that I blend. So this is what I am going to be frying my beef first before I started the stew. So while my oil is heating, this is what I'm going to be using to fry my beef first. Okay, first thing I am going to do is to fry the beef. So now that my oil is hot, I'm going to go ahead and pour my green seasoning with my ginger and my garlic into the oil and let it fry. In my bowl, there is my 3.5 pounds of boneless beef, which I have here. I cut into about 2 to 3 inches thick. That is what I'm going to be using for my stew. Okay, so this is a beef stew, guys. Some of us know it as a stew beef, some of us know it as beef stew. Okay, it's a Guyanese style. I do have several videos on my channel with different types of stew that I make. Okay, so you could go ahead and you could check that out. But this is what I will be using for my stew today. Okay, I went ahead and I washed it. I pre-washed it with vinegar and lemon, and I dried it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and show you the first step. Okay, so there you have it, guys. So into my oil, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to add my grind green seasoning with my ginger and my garlic. And I am going to let this saute it for 2 to 3 minutes and let it marinate into the oil for about 2 to 3 minutes before I add my beef. Okay, guys, so you're going to let that cook for 2 to 3 minutes into the oil. It smells so good already. Okay, you're going to give it a nice toss and let it cook for 2 to 3 minutes. before you add the beef. So the first thing I do is I fry my beef for about 45 minutes to an hour until all the liquid that the beef lose is dried out. It's all evaporated before I started the stew. So I wanted to make sure that my beef is cooked into my seasoning, fully cooked into my seasoning until it's tender. And then I'll go ahead and show you the second step of the stew. This is the first step of the stew, which I fried my beef into all of my seasoning that I blended. My seasoning is a combination of onions, scallion, garlic, chili pepper, fine leaf thyme, broadleaf thyme, basil. So now I'm adding the beef into my green seasoning, and I am going to give that a good toss and let it cook all marinated into the seasoning there. So you're going to give it a nice toss. Make sure all the seasoning is incorporated into the meat, and you're going to let that cook for about 45 minutes to an hour until all the liquid that it's loosed is evaporated. Okay. Okay, at this point, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of cube powder chicken bouillon. Some of us know it as chicken bouillon, so I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of that. And I'm going to give it a good toss. It smells so good. The seasoning smells so good. After I finish giving it a good toss, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover the pot and let it cook for 45 minutes to an hour until my meat is tender. And then I am going to start the second process of my beef stew or my stew beef, whichever name you prefer. Okay, it's the same. It's either beef stew or stew beef. But this is the way we cook it in our country. This is the way Caribbean people cook it. We all cook differently. There's many different ways in cooking stew beef or beef stew. Many different ways. This is one of the way, and this is how we grew up cooking our beef stew in Guyana. That's where I'm from. So this is where this is how I cook my beef stew in Guyana. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to cover the pot and let it cook for 45 minutes to an hour. You're gonna turn it, every couple of minutes. You're gonna give it like a nice turn, and then you're gonna, give it a nice toss and let it cook for 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, until all the liquid that it loose evaporated, and then we'll start the second process of the stew. All right. So be patient, guys. You have to take your time and you have to take your time and cook your stew. You don't want to rush it. You have to cook with love. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to cover my pot and I'm going to let this cook for 45 minutes to an hour. And I'll be back, okay? Be patient. Okay, guys. So now that my beef been cooking for the past hour, I am going to go ahead and check on it now. See how it's looking. So it smells so good and it looks so good, guys. It's been cooking now for the past hour. So here you have it. My beef been frying into my seasoning for the past hour. This is exactly how I wanted it. So I am going to go ahead now and I'm going to show you the second step of the stew. Okay. So in my plate here, I have 1 onion cut up, which I will be adding to the beef right now. 1 full onion, sliced, thinly sliced. I'm going to add that to my beef. And also I have 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, which I am going to be adding 2 tablespoons of tomato paste to my pot. And I went ahead and I cut up 3 large potatoes into 1.5 inch thick. That's what I'm going to be adding into my stew. So it's 3 large potatoes cut up into 1.5 inch thick, okay? So you're going to go ahead and you're going to add that to the beef. And you're going to give it a nice toss. So right now I am adding the 1 onion sliced, thinly sliced, 1 onion thinly sliced, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and my potatoes. I'm going to give this a toss and I'm going to let it cook. I'm going to let it cook for another about 3 to 5 minutes before I add my liquid. So you wanted to give it a nice toss there. Let everything cooperate together before, and let it cook for about 5 minutes before you add your liquid. Okay? So I'm going to let that cook. Okay, guys, I'm going to give it another toss. It looks so good. It smells so good. Going to make sure everything is tossed nicely. Everything is marinated into each other. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken broth because I do not have beef broth on hand. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of chicken broth. You could use chicken broth, you could use beef stock, beef broth, or you could also use vegetable broth. Today I am going to be adding, it doesn't make a difference, guys. It doesn't make a difference with the broth. So today or the stock. Today I'm going to be adding 2 cups of chicken broth into my stew here. Organic. I'm adding organic chicken stock. Okay, 2 cups of organic chicken stock into my stew. And I'm going to give it a nice toss. Make sure everything is cooperated nicely. Give it a nice toss there, guys. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to cover the pot and let it cook for about 20 minutes until your potato is tender. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to cover your pot and let it cook for an additional 20 minutes until your potato is tender. Before I do that, I'm going to show you how my beef is tender. Okay, so I'm showing you right now how the beef is tender. See, you could actually loose it with a fork. That's how you wanted your beef to be. You wanted your meat to be very tender. Okay, so now that my meat is tender, I add my potatoes and I add my 2 cups of liquid, my 2 cups of chicken stock. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the cover onto my pot and I'm going to let it cook for an additional 20 minutes until my potato is tender. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead right now and I'm going to cover the pot and I'm going to let it cook for another 20 minutes. So please bear with me, guys. Okay, guys, so now that my stew has been cooking for an additional 20 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and check it out, see what it looks like. Oh, wow, it smells so good. I'm going to give it a nice toss. It smells so good, guys. I wish you could smell this stew. I'm going to check on the potatoes with a fork, make sure it's tender, and it is tender. So at this point, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to add my tomatoes. I'm adding my tomatoes here and I'm going to give it a nice toss. And I am going to let that cook for about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to let that cook. I'm going to cover it and let it cook 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to check on the stew now. Looks so good. It's actually finishing up here right now. The potatoes are boiled, the meat are boiled, everything is tender. So I'm going to give it one last check, the potato, make sure all the potatoes are tender, which it is. So at this point, I'm going to give it one last nice toss. And I am going to add my scallion, which I have cut up here, finely chopped. For garnishing, I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to add my scallion for garnishing. There you have it, guys. The beef stew, or the stew beef with potato, Guyanese style, West Indian style, Caribbean style, whatever you want to call it. That's the way we cook it back home in our country. So there you have it. I garnish it with my scallion. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to turn the stove off and I will show you how I plate it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you now how I plate it, how we normally eat the stew beef in our country. So earlier today I went ahead and I made some white rice, which I'm going to have with my stew beef or my beef stew. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to plate it now. So I have my white rice here. You could have your stew with white rice, brown rice, basmati rice, whatever rice you want to have it with. You could have your stew. Okay, so I went ahead early today and I made some white rice. So I'm going to show you how I plate it and how we eat it. Okay, so there you have it. I'm going to give my stew a nice turn and I'm going to show you how to plate it. There you have it, guys. My beef stew. There you have it. That's how I cook my beef stew. I know many of you cook differently, and that's okay too, but this is the way I cook my beef stew. This is the way I cook it in my country, and I hope you like this video. Thank you for subscribing. Who have not yet subscribed, kindly do so. I will very much appreciate it. Please like and share my videos. Leave comments. You could drop a comment in the box and let me know if you would like me to make anything or cook anything. So you could drop a comment there and let me know. On the right hand corner of my channel, there is a bell. You could go ahead and click on that. You will be getting a notification every time I upload a new video. Here you have it, guys. My stew beef, Guyanese style. Have a good evening. Enjoy and thank you for watching. See you again.